This is Morten from Inkish. We are still here at Fujifilm in Chicago at this great event. And you know, one of the things is technology. We just spoke to Michael about technology. This time, I don't think I want to talk about technology at all with my good friend Mark from Standard Finishing. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Morten. How are you?
But we need to talk to you. This is almost the last week of your career, right?
Almost, yeah. It's getting up on 7-8 days, something like that.
34 years, right?
It's been a good long run, yeah. Almost 34, yeah.
Do you remember the first day you arrived at the office as a freshman?
I do recall that, yeah. It was, the printing industry was still somewhat novel to me. It was new. So I was a bit of a greenhorn, but started out as a product manager and worked my way up to director of marketing, which I did for a couple of decades, and then pivoted into the digital print on demand partner space. So it was an interesting career, yeah.
And I can't help think about, because when I think of Standard Finishing, the partnership you have, obviously with your dealers in the US, but also with both Horizon and Hunkler, it is like long-term friendships. It's like a lot of things that has just been like developing both as, I guess, that as a personal experience and business kind of things. How do you see that?
Well, technology, of course, is critical. It's what drives the industry forward in many ways, and that's an important, that's what Horizon brings to the table and what Hunkler has brought to the table as well. But people, at the end of the day, and connections and the relationships you build over the course of your career are what makes the business move forward in many, many ways, because technology alone sits there and only does what people tell it to do. But the people is really where you exchange ideas, you exchange learnings, best practices, and that's where our partnerships have really been central to our success in the marketplace, because that's become kind of a core competence for our company.
And I've been talking about technology. I can't help think about it. I mean, I've been in the industry on Inkish side for 10 years, and I think that just in these 10 years, the technology has developed a lot. You've been there for like 3 decades. I mean, just think about how much the technology have changed since you started, right?
From the very beginning, we're very fortunate, of course, to be working closely with Horizon, which was an early innovator, early adopter in post-press automation, and they have continued to lead the way in that area. So we were at the very beginning of the curve when people were starting to talk about how do I eliminate labor costs and put more systems together to link processes. And so we've just been extraordinarily fortunate to be connected to a visionary manufacturer that has the capacity to take us into new directions, and we've been very fortunate that their foresight has brought us to a good spot. They really have been. It's been amazing to see the progress that they've made.
It's funny you say that, because I mean we also work with Horizon, as you know, and when we've been visiting some of your American customers, I mean. I can tell you one thing that I've never told you that is a little bit funny, because in the beginning, when I asked the people about are you working with Horizon equipment, they said, no, we're working with the standard Horizon equipment, all right. And it was like, then I realized that you actually have your own name, so you're so integrated part of, let's say, each other that it becomes like an ecosystem. And the reason I mention this is just because when I have talked to your area managers that have been, I mean, they are close to the customers. They know everything that goes on in the businesses,
sure.
right?
Well, that's actually, you really have to have that kind of intimate relationship with your customers, because it's by understanding their problems at a very deep level that you can actually take the solutions that we have and deploy them successfely. Yeah. And we're fortunate that Horizon has this very broad portfolio.
And it's grown as well,
it's
right?
Growing, and it continues to grow.
Yeah.
And that gives us the chance to actually talk to our customers, not about one way to do things, but here's 3 or 4 different ways to do things, and here's how they could scale, and here's the options that you have. And so we're really in a good place to be able to help customers think through different ways of attacking their production challenges, and not have to, force everybody into one box.
I can't help think about, was it a trooper that Bob, he also retired? And now you're retiring. I mean, are you just an old bunch of guys that all need to be replaced now, or is it going to version 4.0s now, or? This industry has given so much to me and to Bob, right? Personally and professionally. Once you've got that ink or toner or inkjet in your blood, right? It doesn't really come out that easily.
So who knows? You know, I can say that the printing industry will always have a place in my heart.
Yeah.
And you know, the friends and colleagues that I've met over the years are extremely important to me personally.
I would also say that just because you leave standard finishing doesn't mean that you leave your friends behind, right?
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't be too surprised to see you at some trade shows from time to time, just to see if they're still managing, right?
you know, I might have the appetite for that. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
You know,
you'll see.
it's very possible. Yeah.
Talking about going into the third age, I mean, what does that bring to you? Are you married? Do you have
Yeah.
grandkids?
So
something like that, or-
I'm married and have two grown children. So absolutely looking forward to spending more time with them. My wife and I have adventures. I've been to Japan maybe probably over 30 times myself. My wife has never been, so this is an opportunity to. Yeah.
Okay.
So
don't say that to him. He will just jump on your plane. I'll tell
but
you.
there's you know, so there's definitely things on our bucket list. Athletically, I've got some things that I want to do and remain active. So I don't think I'm going to have a hard time filling my time.
I don't think so either, but I can't help think about when being so involved as I think you have been. I'm just wondering, it must be quite difficult to go from like 100 miles per hour to at least some lower speed, right?
You know, finding a lower gear is going to be certainly a challenge. It's the first job I've ever been hired for that I don't really know how to do. So it's that actually is a tiny bit unnerving, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure it will go well. I'm very pleased that I got to meet you again. So all the best and thank you.
Thank you, Morten. Appreciate it.
Likewise.